My first instinct after watching Apple's keynote for their newest iPads was to come on here and to whine and complain and say that these iPads are way too expensive, that they're overcharging their customers, and that you're better off buying a MacBook Air, which is more functional and comes with a real operating system with macOS. However, after watching the first impression videos from the bigger creators out there, I decided that I really need to scale back those opinions because I think Apple did. They did do a lot when it comes to the engineering and design of these new iPads. The thinness is absolutely incredible. They put in the M4 system on a chip, and the accessories had to be somewhat redesigned to go along with these new iPads. So, yes, the iPads are still very expensive devices. However, considering all of the time and engineering and effort that Apple put into the new iPads, I'm going to say that it is almost justified to spend that much money on these new iPads. In terms of engineering and CPU design, Apple put a lot of effort into the M4 system on a chip. Not only did they tweak the performance and the efficiency cores, they also really accelerated the Nero engine. And that falls in line with Apple's new AI strategy that they're going to officially roll out at WWDC next month. So, right now, it looks like Apple's main plan when it comes to AI is to do a lot of the processing on chip because that'll yield faster results and, as a whole, should be more secure than sending those AI requests up to the cloud. In terms of the case, as well as the display, Apple's been putting a lot of engineering resources into making these components as groundbreaking as possible. Now, the biggest concern that I've seen online about these new iPad Pros is the fact that the case is so thin. There are concerns that over time the device itself is going to bend and perhaps even crack. So my biggest hope when it comes out, when it's finally released to the public, is that the case itself would have some sort of beams running through it, or there would be something that they could do to make the structural stability as rigid as possible so these iPads do not bend. Because yes, at 5.1 millimeters, as they said, this is the thinnest device Apple's ever made, and as a result, I can see that there are a lot of concerns about it. And to be honest, even I'm really concerned that these new iPads are going to be susceptible to bending. Apple is known for shipping some of the best displays in the industry. At 1000 nits of sustained brightness and 1600 nits for HDR content, I believe these new OLED panels are going to bring color accuracy, contrast, and the deepest of black levels because of this new tandem OLED display that is shipping on the new iPad Pros. However, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, and I think a lot of you watching this video right now understands that what really holds back the iPad from being a really great device is the operating system. So a couple of months ago, I made a video where I said I regret purchasing the iPad Air 4. And a lot of the reason for that regret is because iPadOS in its current form sucks. Specifically, I pointed out file management and window management as being terrible. And the same holds true with this new iPad that was announced the other day. So what Apple really has to do is that they really have to revamp and basically rewrite iPadOS from scratch. Because if they don't do something drastic at WWDC to address everyone's concerns about file management, window management, and just trying to navigate around the operating system, we're going to be in a situation where these new iPads are wonderfully great hardware, insanely great products, but the iPad OS is going to hinder that and slow it down. And if iPad OS does not change, it's going to do a lot to hurt the ability of these new iPads. And all of the work that went into the hardware design and engineering of these iPads will have gone to waste. Finally, at $1,000 for the 11-inch iPad Pro and $1,300 for the 13-inch version, these iPads are some of the most expensive devices that Apple currently sells. Now, you can make the argument that you could get a MacBook with a larger display, a better keyboard, more storage, and more RAM. However, I believe that the audience, or people who use iPads, are fundamentally different than people like myself who stick with MacBooks. Because people who use iPads in general are those who are artists, content creators, and people who need the largest display possible to be with them at all times. So it is a very niche environment when you're purchasing an iPad compared to a full-on MacBook. But I think for some people out there, the value is there for them. However, at $1,000 starting or $1,300 for that 13-inch iPad Pro, I do think that is really a really high price. And I think Apple could reduce the price of these iPads by $100 or $150, and they would still make a killer profit on these devices. So once again, Apple is, I'm not saying it's a cash grab because, as I said, a lot of time, energy, and effort went into making these iPads. And I do think that it does command a premium price. Yet at the same time, I think Apple could lower the prices just a little bit to make it more affordable for people, and they would still come out and make a great profit. All right, that's about it. Peace.